Trying to see if we're live yet. Give us a second, y'all. We about to get started. Gotta make sure everything is on point. Miss Freeman, do you happen to see Facebook to see if it's live just yet?
Let me check for you.
That's how I know this gonna be good. Ooh, that's how I know this gonna be good. Woo. So I see it live on my page, my business page. I'm trying to see if we can go live on my regular page. Nope, we cannot. So what I'm gonna have to do is share the one from my business page onto my personal page. And then we should be able to see it. Do you see it on your page?
Not yet, no.
We're going to get through this tonight, y'all. I promise you we are. Even if I have to sign off and sign right back in, we're going to get through this tonight. All right, let me see. I'm about to tag you now, Miss Freeman. Few more seconds, y'all. We about to get started. In a second, you should be able to see the tag. You see the tag yet, Miss Freeman?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. You can just add it to your page, and then we're going to get started. Just a few more minutes. Let me know when you're ready.
All right, I'm ready.
All right. Good evening, y'all. Good evening. And we are live. We've been live about 5 minutes now. But let me tell you something. If y'all only knew what was taking place on the other side of this live before we got live, you would understand why there is such technical difficulties. You see, the enemy is real bad. You see, I'm talking about real bad, because what this woman, what this amazing, beautiful, courageous, tenacious, there are so many words that I could use to describe her. Okay, we don't have enough time. We do not have enough time, but there is so much wisdom Oh my goodness, there's so much wisdom that comes from her. There's so much that she's about to say that's about to impact so many people. So I am asking you, as you are coming in, please, 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 you do not want to be stingy tonight. Okay? Tag 3 people on this live, y'all. Tag 3 people. Hi, Tina. How are you? As you guys are coming in, I need you to tag 3 people. That's all. It's free, y'all. It don't cost nothing to tag. Just free. Okay? Share this jewel with somebody tonight. Of course, you are now joining Freedom Friday. And the podcast title for tonight is The Price of Greatness. Oh, I get the feeling. Like I told you before, I get the feeling you about to tell on a lot of folks tonight. I get the feeling you about to step on toes. I get the feeling you're about to enlighten. I get the feeling there's just so much that's going to come from this conversation. That's why it's being fought so hard. I must say that it is a pleasure. It is a privilege. I am in awe. I am humbled. I am honored to be in your presence. I've watched you for a while now. Yes, I really am. I've watched you for, hi, Jacob. How are you? Thank you for tagging. As y'all come in, tag 3 people, tag 3 people, tag 3 people. Tag 3 people. I'm telling you, I'm trying to take my time for a reason. I want to make sure as many people as possible can be a part of this podcast because she is about to let it rip. And it's so funny because she has such a monotone. She has such a mild-mannered demeanor, but when she speaks, it's like rivers of living water. Let me tell y'all. Okay? So tag 3 people. Okay? Like, comment, and share. Like, comment, and share. We're about to get started. The price of greatness. I want to say welcome to everybody that's under the sound of our voice. I also want to say welcome to those who are about to catch the playback. Y'all better get y'all pens. Y'all better get y'all paper because you're going to want to take some notes, okay? So really, really quick, I also want to give a huge shout out to Mr. Eddie Jones and to Jacob Anderson, who have allotted me this opportunity to take my podcast and expand my territory. I am so grateful, y'all. Diamonds in the Rough and Freedom Friday is now streaming live. Always been on Facebook, but we're now streaming live on YouTube, and we will be streaming live on other platforms very, very, very soon. So y'all stay tuned. Y'all just watch. It's only up from here. Okay, let me be a witness to those of you that have been cast away. People talked about you. People degraded you. People try to downplay who you are because of things that you've experienced, because of things that you went through. I'm telling you, if I could be a witness, just watch. Hold on to God. Trust His plan. Keep on walking and just watch what He does in your life. This is the season, y'all. This is the season. I'm telling y'all, for the ones that were in the back to come up to the front. This is the season. It's only up from here. So please, without further ado, let me introduce this giant of a woman, okay? This giant of a woman, Miss Emily Claudette Freeman, is an award-winning journalist, an award-winning, excuse me, I have to say this correctly, an award-winning journalist, an award-winning playwright. After 24 years in South Florida, radio, WPOM, WIOD, WINZ, and WMBM, which is one of my favorites, might I add. Ms. Freeman has launched a publishing and literary services brand, Pecan Tree Publishing and Literary Services, where she works with authors in birthing and publishing their literary vision. In recent years, Ms. Freeman has geared the business toward uncovering the transformative inner stories that impact our lives, but may be untapped. Woo! Let me say Let me stay focused. Her mission in doing so is to help others find their healing, their purpose, and divine assignment through the authentic stories that get buried. Mighty God. Miss Freeman is the author of Precious Redemption, When I Danced with God, Pieces, and the Stuff That Wakes Me Up at Night. Oh, mighty God. I'm trying to stay focused with you. I'll read this stuff and it's like, okay, all right, let me get back to it. Okay.
You can do
it. Contributing author to several titles, including Chicken Soup for the African American Woman's Soul and When I Kill Him, Jesus Can Have Him, hello, as well as 2 journal series. She has penned more than 8 plays, several of which have had performances or staged readings with the Heritage Ensemble Theater Company, the Women's Theater Festival of Memphis, and the Atlanta Black Theater Festival, and the National Black Theater Festival. Listen, I got this. Y'all put some clap emojis in the comment section for me. Why don't you put some? Give this lady her flowers. You hear me? Give her her flowers right now to accomplish all that stuff. I know without a shadow of a doubt, you have seen some stuff. You have gone through some stuff. You had to overcome some stuff. You had to cry some nights. You had to struggle some nights. You had to tarry some nights. You probably wanted to quit some nights, and you did it.
Listen, wrote my letter of resignation to my own self.
Listen.
And didn't even give me 2 weeks notice. I gave me 2 minutes notice.
I'm telling you. I am telling you. Y'all, as you all are coming in, please, you want to tag 3 people. If you don't want to tag, like, comment, and share. Help us get this word out, okay? All right, so let's get started really, really quickly. The title of the podcast is what? The Price of Greatness, y'all. The Price of Greatness. So let's dabble into what the price of greatness is. What does it mean? And like I said before, Miss Claudette, whenever you feel like you want to jump in, feel free to jump in, all right? The price of greatness is expensive. First of all, it is expensive. So while we're, calling out greatness and calling out nations and calling out all these things that seem so popular to say these days, I'm going to need you to count the fact that the price of greatness is expensive, y'all. Mm-hmm. It is taxing. It is taxing to the mind. It is taxing to your emotions. It is taxing to your body. For some of us, it's taxing to your very life.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It is. And we have to be mindful of whose greatness and what greatness are we calling in.
Come on.
Right? We grow up and people, we kind of take on everybody else's stuff, right? We take on, and we even take on then everybody's definition of what we should become and how we should become it and when we should be coming and how it should be measured, right? And so when we don't hit what they think is the measure, the mark, then we think we've failed at being great or we failed for some reason. And then, life happens and you get to that place where you're like, okay, wait a minute, let me step back, because did I really ever have a conversation with God? Did I really have a conversation with my own spirit about what it means to be great to me? What greatness looks like for me, right? Yeah. And so, one of the things that you lose on the road to greatness, and one of those weights that you feel on your shoulder, is the weight of everybody else's definition about your greatness.
Mighty God.
But everybody else, even your family members, don't necessarily know what your greatness is.
Right.
And those those you dance with, those you party with, those you hang out with, those you praise and worship with, those, you go to family reunions with and class reunions with, unfortunately, a lot of times they don't see what's on you. And that's a hard thing, right? That's part of that weight of greatness, that you want those closest to you, those that walk intimately with you, to see it. And when they don't see it, you go through this emotional roller coaster trying to say, well, do I really have something? If they don't see it, I can't really have something.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe what I'm thinking I got is not really there. Maybe I'm just tripping. Right? And so we begin to move in that, what they call imposter syndrome. We take on, and then the other part of that is, you're like, okay, but why is it you don't see it? You're supposed to know me. You're supposed to be, we're supposed to be like that. Why don't you see it?
Yes.
And then the other side of it is, you're like, okay, if they're not seeing it and I'm questioning it, is there anything that God even put anything there? So now, you're mad at God over here, you're questioning God, you're questioning and doubting yourself, and then you're looking at people that you're supposed to be intimate with, and you have this moment where you either want to cry to them and say, why don't you see this? Or you want to be for real and punch them right in the face.
No, listen. Now you talking my language, you see.
You want to punch them right in the face and say, what's wrong? Why you acting crazy?
Yes.
Why you acting crazy?
But
right?
What about when they can see it, but refuse to even acknowledge it?
Listen, you know what? I've struggled with that, because I've walked that road, and I would ask people, what is that about? What is that really about? And I would, like you said, that was one of those things I would honestly cry about sometimes, because that cuts.
It does.
That cuts deep, and that is one of those things, like every once in a while you feel that knife right where they put it just turn. Ooh. Right? Just turn every once in a while. And I think the thing about it is, you have to take ownership of that, right? Because it becomes part of the fact that we give people too much credit and too much leeway into what's ours to own. Our greatness, or whatever our purpose, or whatever our vision, or whatever our step and our stop in this world is supposed to be, is on us. Right? It's not on them, but we put it on them because we have this false sense of needing to be valued and appreciated by everybody else. But we want it from everybody else so much that we forget to give it to ourselves.
Right.
We forget to give it to ourselves, right? And so we get caught up into feeling all of their stab wounds, and make no mistake about it, right? We try to give people the benefit of the doubt, but a friend of mine always tells me, if there's a doubt, there's no benefit, sweetie.
Woo! Wait, pin right there. I need you to rewind. If there's no doubt, there's no what?
If there's a doubt, there's no benefit. So she would always tell me, stop giving people the benefit of the doubt. If you doubt them, there ain't no benefit.
Oh my God.
But that's what we do. We give people the benefit of the doubt, and we give people leeway. We give people far too much leeway, because we see other people's greatness, right? We see other people's potential. We see other people's purpose, and we see other people's fire, and we go forward with them, right? We're trying to pull it. So when we encounter somebody that we know sees it in us, and we know they see it in us because of the little things that they say.
They say and do. Hello.
Right? They say stuff to you like, oh, I see you got your little business. Or, oh, I see you wrote your little play. Oh, I see you got a little CD.
Yes.
Right? And so.
Or they acknowledge you in private only.
Right.
Behind the scenes.
They acknowledge you behind the scenes. They'll acknowledge you one-on-one, but the moment they get among somebody and somebody's saying to you, saying something wonderful about you, then you notice it in their body language.
Yes.
Right? You notice it in their body language. You notice it in the way they keep trying to shift the conversation away from you.
Woo!
Right? or you notice it in the way they keep trying to shift the conversation because they've got a story about them that's better than anything you've ever done. Right? I call those the storytellers. Those are the storytellers. They always have a story to tell, and their story is always going to be better than yours. Their life is always going to be more adventurous than yours, and they want to engage you to let you know that you got a little something going on, but what I have going on is what we really need to talk about.
Right.
Right? And unfortunately, what happens is we keep these people close to us. Keep these people close to us, and part of the weight I think you have to lose when it comes to greatness is that kind of weight. Because when it becomes clear that you're not going to ever be important for them, and everything that you've achieved and everything that you do is never going to be important for them, that's toxic. That is toxic. That is not a person that has your best interest at heart. Right? And even those people that say those little things like, oh, I see you did a little something, whenever they start using terms like little, or you tried, or, that was a solid effort, right? Or they start talking to you in terms only of whether or not you profited financially.
As if that's the only way to prosper.
Right. They're questioning the merit, right, and the profitability of what you do. Well, we all know realistically that profit is a wonderful benefit and blessing of greatness, but profit has nothing to do with greatness.
That's only like the fruit of it.
The fruit of it, right?
Ooh, that's the byproduct.
Yeah, it really is. So, so when we talk about defining greatness, you have to go back and, we take on general definitions of that word great or greatness or whatever, but you have to go back and ask God, okay, what is my portion of greatness?
Ooh, what is my portion of greatness? Somebody please write that in the comment section right now. What is my portion of greatness?
What is my portion of greatness? I was working on a project about sculptor and artist Augusta Savage. And Augusta Savage built this wonderful 16-foot tall sculpture years ago for the World's Fair in, I want to say 1940 something. And they ended up destroying it because they were unable to recreate it or tear it down properly. So they ended up destroying it. But one of the things that I found very interesting about Augusta Savage is not only was she a phenomenal artist, but the real merit of her talent was the fact that she opened a studio in Harlem, New York, and actually ended up starting the careers of more than 200 other artists, Black and white, right? That's her portion of greatness. It wasn't just her work. And yes, she produced phenomenal works, but her portion of greatness was you're going to produce by your hands, but you're also called in your greatness to birth other artists.
Wow.
Right? So what is your portion of greatness? And your portion of greatness,
like what you're saying in that, what if your portion of greatness is to develop somebody else? That's what I'm hearing you say. What if it's not so much the big stage? What if it's not so much the $1 million? But what if your portion of greatness is the gift that you channel, that you carry, that could be for one person that's going to change the world, that's going to get on the big stage, that's going to get the millions.
Right.
Because in hindsight, even if it's just for one person, you're still a part of that greatness.
Exactly.
Because the channel came from you. Oh, that's so powerful.
And guess what? Because you carried that portion of greatness, their legacy includes your legacy.
Exactly.
Right? And so you have to know what's your portion of greatness. People would say to me sometimes, you do coaching and you do publishing and this, that, and the other thing. It doesn't bother you sometimes when it seems like clients are more successful than you are. And I'm like, no, because I know I was there.
Right.
I was there. And that's what I do. That's part of what I do.
Right.
Right. So for me, my greatness is manifest when my clients are achieving what they set out to achieve. Right.
So it's like to say greatness is not selfish.
Greatness is not selfish. Because you can be, you know what, you can define your greatness as whatever you define it, but if it's only for you, it's still greatness.
Right.
But then the question becomes, does your greatness have any impact?
Right.
Right? Does your greatness have any impact?
Wow.
You know? And that's the other thing we have to, when we start talking about defining our greatness, you know, we have to know what is our portion of greatness. And then we have to ask ourselves, if we are really being great, then what is the impact of our greatness?
Yeah.
You know?
Who am I affecting? Who am I helping?
Exactly.
Whose life is being transformed because of my greatness?
Because of my greatness.
It's almost as if sometimes, you know, we chase after the grandiose scheme of things, or the, you know, the accolades, or, you know, the notoriety, or the like clicks. Hello.
Right.
Or just the different things that really don't mean anything if you're not helping anyone.
Anybody, right. Anybody.
Let's go real quick, because we already like just went a whole nother direction. So let's go real quick back to, what is the price of greatness? The price of greatness is expensive. Are you willing to pay the price? Greatness is determination, it's sacrifice, it's obedience, it's discipline. Some of us lack discipline. It's persistence. It's an everyday choice to take the road less traveled. Oh my God. Oh my. I feel like there are some people that are watching us right now, that your road to greatness is a road that is less traveled. What does that mean? Uncharted territory. What does that mean? Your road is a new road. Your road is something different. Your road is that thing in the Bible that says that eyes have not seen and ears have not heard, nor has it entered into the heart of man, the things that God is getting ready to do with and through and for you.
Exactly.
Your road is the road less traveled. And I feel like someone needs to hear this. Do not be afraid of taking that step. Do not be afraid of being a trailblazer, doing something different, doing something new, because people won't understand, or people won't approve, or people won't acknowledge.
And people will laugh at you. They'll laugh at you. They'll question your faith walk.
Yes.
They'll question your ability, you know, to discern something.
Oh, that ain't God. That can't be God.
That part. That part. If that was God, that was the one that went on. If that was really God, you know, and you know, when you're walking that trajectory, when you're walking that path, it's rough sometimes. You know
it
what?
Is.
You're gonna stump your toe on some hard rocks in the middle of the road, and you're gonna be like you're gonna be walking that road, and somebody's gonna come along, somebody's gonna, you know, be in your face one minute, and the next thing you know, they're trying to steal the very idea and the things that you were talking and partnering with them about, you know, and then they're gonna leave you in that ditch on the side of the road, wounded and crying, right? But the beautiful thing about that is there's gonna be somebody that doesn't know you from anybody that's gonna come along and pick you up and take you someplace where you can be safe, where you can be healed, right? And they're gonna take care of it. But that's part of the way of greatness is scorn. People will laugh at you. You know, people will support you for 30 minutes and then for the rest of the year tell you need to give up.
Yeah.
right? They'll show you different reasons why you should give up.
Yes. Absolutely.
Right? And they'll show you how you should give up,
Or
right?
why you should detour.
Why you should detour, right? And why you shouldn't do it that way, and why you should do it this way. And they'll also, there's always someone with the if it were me, if I was doing it.
Yes.
Right.
If I,
and you have to be ready. You have to. You know what? It takes some tough skin. And let me tell you something. It took me a while to develop that tough skin because I felt it all.
Yes.
I felt it all. And you are absolutely right. There were times I would be someplace and I would be in my zone. You know, I would have gone into someplace, done a workshop, did wonderfully well, and walk out of there. And it's like the enemy is like standing by your car in the parking lot, waiting for you to get in the car so that somebody can, you know, either come tap on your window or call you or something and say something crazy and out of the way. And then everything where you just shine, where you were moving in your purpose, right? Where you were moving in what you were created to do, then suddenly feels like it was just knocked clean out of the universe.
Right.
And that's one of those things that's one of those things that you feel on your way to greatness. You're gonna get those slaps. You're gonna get those people throwing you in the ditch.
Oh yeah.
You know, and like I said earlier, you will write your own letter of resignation. Listen, yes. I have written my own letter of resignation so many times, and by the time I get to the end of the letter of resignation, and I'm crying and I'm boohoo crying and I'm telling God why this time I think I'm really going, you know, follow through with this resignation. By the time I get to the end of it, never fails. I promise you. By the time I get to the end of that letter, God has someone calling me to say, I was referred to you because I was told that you're the one I need to work with. Never fails.
Rams in the bush.
Never fails.
I feel like, well, this is what I've been experiencing. Because, you know, greatness will break you. When you've been chosen and called to greatness, it is a breaking and sometimes brutally painful experience. But I feel like, I remember I was praying one day and I'm like, Lord, why am I going through all this crazy stuff? I don't understand. Like, everything is going wrong. Everything is out of control. Everything is falling apart. But at the same time, I got this door opening and that door opening and this person reaching out to me. And so it's like it's topsy-turvy because on the one hand, like all hell breaking loose. And on the other hand, all these doors are busted wide open and I really don't have nothing to do with it. And it's like I heard God say, I had to take you this way. Y'all don't hear me. I had to take you in the broken sense. I had to take you with your tail tucked between your legs because, listen to me, because this is for somebody. The pain that you're experiencing, the degradation, the loss for some of y'all, the betrayals for some of y'all, this experience that you're having where you want to quit and want to give up, God is saying, I had to take you this way because where I'm about to take you, if you didn't go through the way of brokenness, you would get so prideful and destroy the plan. Do y'all know people don't think we have the power to destroy God's plan? But we think that. Let me go somewhere else because I'm not sure everybody is ready to hear that. We have the power.
Well, here it is though, because it's you know what. And this is what I think it is based on, because I've been there. I've been there where I was broken down, where I became that one in the group that, you know, everybody kind of put over here because, you know, hanging with me became too expensive, yes. Right? Because when in the course of doing what you're doing, sometimes the money's just not there. Yes. It's just not there. So then you become costly financially to your friends. But then when you're going through the emotional weight of all of that, then you also become costly emotionally to your friends and your family, right?
Yes.
But in that, when you're moving through that brokenness, what I have discovered is God is breaking you, not because he really does not want to destroy you, but what he's trying to destroy is all of that stuff within us that you're talking about that can come up and absolutely divert his plan in our life. It'll, believe it or not, all of that I had to learn that the inability to acknowledge the fact that I have greatness in me and the fact that I have done some amazing things in my life was me saying to God, I don't trust that you put that there.
Wow.
And so if you can't trust that he put all of that good stuff that people keep telling you they see in you, but you can't look in the mirror, you can't look at your life and see that stuff in you, that's a trust issue with God. That's an intimacy issue with God, right? So he's got to break that. He has to break that. So he has to break up all of that stuff in you. He has to break up that thing in you that wants you to cling to somebody else's him, hoping they'll see you. Right? He wants you to understand that, listen, all of that stuff that everybody keeps rehearsing that you did, and all of that stuff you keep rehearsing that you did, and you know the details of how you did it that they don't know, he has to break that away from you, because you know what? We take all of that weight and we pile it up and we pile it up, and the bigger that God has for us is right there, but we keep piling stuff on top of it. So we can't even see the bigger, let alone try to get around it, because we keep packing it up. We keep packing it up. And so he has to break that stuff. And the breaking is not, the breaking is not fun. It's not a good feeling at all. You know, you have those times where you're just like, okay, God, listen, if whatever it is you want for me to possess is this heavy, you know what, God, I think I'll be good right on over here.
Right.
I'll be good right on over here.
Right.
But you know what the truth of the matter is, and there's someone listening that knows this. The truth of the matter is, when you get to that place where you think you're resolved, that if that's going to be that heavy, if you got to be broken that much, if it's going to hurt you that much, I'll be all right over here. The moment you say that, everything in your life kind of grinds to a halt, because God is like,
wow.
No, you weren't done. You weren't done. Okay, you having a moment. Have your moment. But until you get through that moment and you come back over here and let me finish what I started, so you can move on, I'm going to be right here. I got your tears now. I got your tears, but I'm going to be right here waiting for you to come on back over here and acknowledge that there is something about you. There is something about you. And you know that what I'm saying is true, because you said this to God. I know your word says you won't put more on me than I can bear, but
right.
I think you think right. I think you think I'm a bit stronger than you really made me to be.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Right. So that breaking weight is heavy. It's a heavy thing. It's a heavy thing. But let me tell you something. When you realize what you gained intrinsically in the breaking, when you realize the level of strength you got in an area where you kept getting stabbed and it would hurt you, and the next time that stab comes, you don't even feel it.
Really? Oh my God.
Then you realize, oh, okay, you broke something. But baby, listen, God, when you broke it, the strength you gave me over here.
Listen. Real quickly, I don't want to ignore people. I really don't. Let me go real quickly and acknowledge everybody while we can, because I feel like this is about to we done already got deep. But I feel like this is about to go to a whole nother level. And I want to acknowledge some people real quickly. Miss Tina Daniels, excuse me for messing up your name, my love. Mr. Jacob Anderson, my boy, is on here watching. Thank you all so much for being a part of this conversation. Let me keep searching. I can't see everybody. I'm going to try to call out Miss Treese Alves. Please forgive me if I'm butchering your names. I do not mean to. Miss Tanya Butler. Miss, I don't know if that's Shepherd Halmore, I believe. Miss Shamika Anderson is watching. My Apostle Charles Thompson is watching. Thank you so much for joining. Let me try to run through this as quickly as possible because I want to get back to this. But I just want to acknowledge you all because you all are a part of this conversation. And I want y'all to know that we see you and we hear you. We see you and we hear you. My brother Jacob said, we have to inspire to stay inspired. Woo! Your spiritual journey must serve a greatness. Love God's people as he loves us. I know that's right. Woo! Okay. Miss Freeman, let me compose myself because I swear to God, I want to take off and run it. I told you what you was going to do. I told you what you was going to do. That's an insider. But I told you what you was going to do. OMG. All right, so let's get back to it. The price of greatness is a road full of bumps, twists, and turns, and roadblocks. A road that may lead to perceived failure. Because I say perceived because as long as you don't quit, you cannot fail.
Right.
Even if you fall, even if you make a mistake, even if you do something that under normal circumstances you wouldn't do, as long as you can pick yourself back up and keep on walking, you cannot fail.
Right.
As long as there is breath in your body and your intention is to be committed to being the best version of you, you cannot fail. Because like the text just said, the road to greatness is bumpy.
Yeah.
It's bumpy, y'all.
Even if you buy into that I failed story, you know what, even if you believe that you failed, here's the thing about it. Failure teaches you something. So what did you learn?
Woo, come on.
What did you learn? Don't just say, oh, I failed and give up. You failed, but what did you learn?
Yeah.
Why did you fail?
Yeah.
Where did it fail? When did it fail? Right? How did it fail? Ask yourself the question, get the lessons. Because you're going to try it again. So get the lessons so you know where and how and why and what. And then you can redo it. You can redesign it.
Or sometimes even if the lesson in the fall is to show you how not to fall like that again.
Right.
Sometimes we go through cycles, vicious cycles, because we didn't learn the lesson the first time. You know, sometimes we'll be walking down a road and God will say, turn right. But because we're so accustomed to doing things the way we want to do them, it looks right in our eyes. When he says turn right, we want to turn left. But God is saying, don't turn left, there's a fire. But we so hard-headed,
right,
screaming, that instead of listening to the still voice that's trying to prevent something from happening, sometimes we walk in what we call our freedom. Even though we have it, we don't understand that there's a responsibility to that freedom.
Right.
And the responsibility is to heed to the voice of God.
Right. Right.
And that sometimes
because you can have the freedom, but the freedom does not negate trust in God.
Come on.
It does not negate trust in God.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
It doesn't. It really does not. I remember it, and it's funny to use that analogy, but I remember one morning I was leaving work and I was driving to work, and my son and I were in the car, and I kept into this place in the road, and every time I got to this place in the road, the car would make a strange noise, and so I would turn around and go back to my apartment building, and I did this like 3 times. After I did it the 3rd time, clearly I heard a voice that there's nothing wrong with the car. Just keep going. The 3rd time I did it, my son said, Mommy, it's probably just gravel in the road or something. Just keep going. Just keep going. Don't turn back again. Why do you keep turning back? Right? I promise you, God used that word to speak to me that morning. But when it happened the 4th time, I went to turn around and I heard something say, If you trust me, keep going. And the moment I heard that, my son said, Mommy, just keep going.
Wow.
And this is what he said, even if something's wrong with the car, you got to keep going to take it someplace.
My God. My God. Wait, can you repeat that one more time?
Right? He said, even if it's something wrong with the car, you got to keep going to take it someplace.
Wow.
So sure enough, I kept going. And when we passed that spot and I didn't turn around and I looked through the rearview mirror, sure enough, it was just some gravel in the road. But God showed me that morning, if you're going to trust me, you're going to trust me even when you think something's wrong and you can't figure it out.
Mighty God. And
you're going to have to trust me to move through even if you think something is wrong.
Woo! It's right? Creepy, you're killing me. Oh my God.
And that's part of the price of greatness. Absolutely. Either you're going to trust me or you're going to keep going back around in that circle, getting to that place where something's wrong, and you're going to be caught up going in that circle.
Losing your mind. Until you learn the lesson.
Right.
Man, it's in it. I'm not a stickler necessarily for what's right and what's wrong. Right? I'm not a stickler necessarily for you going to hell for this, or you in sin, like the saints love to throw around. I'm not a stickler for that. What I am a stickler for is at what point am I going to grow here? At what point am I going to learn the lesson here? How many times do I have to have this experience, the same experience? And sometimes we have the same experiences with different faces. And it seems like every time we go back around that mountain, the experience intensifies. It's almost like God is trying to say, I'm trying to get you to wake up.
Right. It's like, did you get it? Okay, listen. I'm going to make it bigger this time. Hopefully you're going to get it.
Hopefully you'll get it.
It's like God is saying, clean your glasses off. Girl, clean your glasses off. Get somebody else to help you see, whatever, but get it this time, because I don't want you to have to come this way again, because the next time it's going to be even bigger and harder.
Yes. And sometimes these experiences, once we go through them, they sift you or they refine you like a fire, like it's the purifier. It's the thing that's going to remove the weights that's holding you back, man. Like the hindrances that's keeping you from moving into your destiny, and you wondering why. Like you'll get to the cusp of something, and then all of a sudden it's like you got to start all over again because you didn't learn the lesson. And God is not a God that is going to allow us to make a mockery out of him.
No.
If we're not ready for something, he ain't giving it to us.
No.
He will allow us because we have freedom. Ms. Freeman, we have the freedom of choice, the freedom. He wants us to choose to do what he wants us to do. And if we don't, he gonna fold his hands and tweedle his thumbs and say, okay, I'm gonna holler at you when you come back around this mountain. Hopefully this time you'll get it, because you're not gonna stop going in this circle until you learn this lesson.
Exactly.
I got set back, I think, twice when I was in school. Why? Because I did not learn what I needed to learn to get to the next level.
Right. That part.
So it's not about, and people have a tendency to like ask me, and I do it intentionally. Instead of going by your name, why do you go by Apostle Q? I go by Apostle Q because I need people to know that if he can use me,
yes,
he can use you.
Yes.
My life is an open book. I'm going to tell you what I did before I did it. And if you can see God's glory in my life as Apostle Q, knowing the backstory, knowing everything that I suffered with, knowing everything that I struggle with and still currently struggle with, it would give you hope to know that if he could use me, if he could transform me, if he could remold me and make me new, I promise you he can do it for you. But it's going to take for you to look at yourself and be honest with yourself enough to say, I have to grow up here.
Right.
I have to learn this lesson this time. I don't know about y'all, but I am sick and tired of going around this mountain.
Listen, let me tell you something. One of the things I hated in school was not passing the test. Listen, that was offensive to me if I did not pass the test. You hear me? So, and so I asked myself, okay, so why is it when you got grown and life started handing you tests, you ain't have no problems failing them tests?
Ooh.
And retaking those tests, right? That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's some craziness, right? But you know, one of the things you just said is you have to mature. You have to look at yourself and say, okay, you know what? I'm not going there again. I'm not going around this mountain again. I'm not going to get this whooping yet again.
Come on, man.
Right?
Come on.
Not again. But you know what that takes? That takes this price of greatness. Checking your own self.
Woo!
That price of checking your own self, that price of saying, okay, where you really stink at.
Come on.
Right? Where you really just have dug your heels at and being who you think you are and who you say you are, and you refuse to yield or submit to anything else.
Come on. Come on.
Right?
All of us think somehow, some way, but some of us are willing to find out where that stench is coming from and do something about it.
Right.
I don't want to walk around stink. I don't know about y'all.
Right. No. And here's the truth of the matter. In 90% of the situations we keep getting in our lives, here's what we have to say to ourselves: sweetie, you common denominator. The problem is you.
Woo. And that's a tough pill to swallow.
But it's the truth. The problem is you.
Yeah.
You holding on to I want them to see me. You holding on to I want them to acknowledge me. You holding on to but why they didn't. You're holding on to but I should have gotten. You're holding on to but they did this. And in all of that holding on, you know what you're doing? You're building up a whole bunch of other little stinky stuff in you. You building up your own self-rejection. You building up resentment. You building up bitterness. You building up anger. Right? And all of that stuff is walking around with you every time. And every time there's an opportunity for you to do something, you know, and you can't walk into it powerfully, then you get upset.
Yes.
You get upset. You say stuff like, they just don't want me to be great.
Yes.
They won't let me be great. Right? But God is a God that can handle every hard thing in you if you allow him to.
If you allow him to.
If you allow him to. And if he's trying to deal with it and you're fighting him, I need us to understand that you can't win.
I'm trying to tell you because I've been trying. It don't work.
Listen, my mom would tell people all the time, out of her 3 children, I'm the most stubborn. She would tell them, I think that I could out-stubborn God. And I will admit that I have tried several times.
I'm talking about multiple.
In several situations to out-stubborn God. I figured I was going to outlast God. I was going to out-pout God. I was going to out-temper tantrum God. And I'm here to tell you, just in case you're on that tip right now, let me just help you. Just stop.
I'm telling you. It'll wear you out.
Just stop. Because you can't do it. You just can't do it, right? But that's part of that price of greatness, is to deal with your stench.
Yeah, somebody put it in the comment section. They said accountability.
Right. And accountability has to be to you first, to thy own self be true. And to thy own self be accountable. Because you can sit in a room with a bunch of accountability partners and you can fake it.
Yes.
Right? But you cannot fake being accountable to yourself, and you cannot fake being accountable to God.
No.
You know? So that's the price of that. They're absolutely right. That's the price of greatness, being accountable and being true and sincere in your accountability.
Yes. Not trying to dance around it, not making excuses, Not giving a little bit of the truth, but I'm gonna hold this part back. No, being naked and not ashamed. I'm talking about pulling it all out. That's the only way you're gonna grow. Being brutally honest with yourself about yourself.
Yes.
And being willing to make whatever necessary. You know, I used to be the kind of person, Miss Freeman, that I'm gonna sit on my hands and wait for this thing to fall out the sky. I'm gonna just wait for a supernatural something. I'm gonna wait for some kind of ram in the bush. I'm gonna wait for some kind of miracle, and then abracadabra and everything. No, we are co-laborers with Christ. Yes. That means we have to work together. I do my part while he does his part. Granted, his work is probably way bigger than mine because there's certain things I just can't do. But it takes for me to put my foot to the pavement and do something. I gotta be willing. The first step is to be accountable. Like, let me see who said that. I don't want to just keep saying this person. Miss Shamika Anderson said, being accountable, being able to look at yourself in the mirror and say, this right here needs some adjustment. I'm not gonna say it's wrong because the energy behind it, it gives me anxiety. Like, oh my God, I gotta fix it. Right. But I'm going to say, this doesn't serve me anymore. If I can look at it from the perspective of, this doesn't serve me anymore, I'm going to ask myself the question, okay, what can I do so that not necessarily this can serve me, but so that something else can serve me, or that something else can take its place? What adjustment can I make that's going to serve me? There we go.
That's right. That's going to serve me. And that's going to serve what I'm supposed to do in this life.
Come on.
And
that doesn't mean I'm going to be perfect.
You know, here's the thing that we have to understand. And this is a big thing about the price of greatness that I don't want anybody to miss this. Here is something that we never want to pay the price for in greatness. If we don't reach the greatness, our portion of greatness, if we don't reach our portion of greatness, then the people that we are supposed to touch miss out.
Yes.
If we are out of place in our portion of greatness, then those that we are supposed, whatever you want to call it, serve, minister to, teach, counsel, mentor, whatever you want to call it, then they're missing something that we're supposed to bring to them.
Yes.
Right? Will God get it to them through another source? Absolutely. But why why have God send another source when part of that purpose is part of your greatness?
Come on.
Right? And so we have to realize that if we don't, that's the price of greatness we never want to pay. Yes. It's somebody else missing their greatness because we were out of place.
Yes.
Because we couldn't be accountable, because we couldn't deal with our own stuff, because we didn't ask God, what is the portion of our greatness? Because we didn't think about the impact of our greatness. That's a price. That's a price. I'm sure I've paid that price. I don't want to pay that price anymore. I mean, when you think about that, right? When you think about that, if you think about if somebody handed you an invoice where you have to pay a specific cost for all of the lives you were supposed to touch, but you didn't.
My.
See?
And see, and this is the thing, like you said it, right? It's about the people that we're supposed to be impacting, right? And why is accountability so necessary? I hear you guys. It's not about making yourself wrong. It's not about feeling bad. It's about the blueprint. Why? The blueprint. Here we go. The blueprint is, mad. He mad. The blueprint is necessary. Is necessary for the people that you have to impact. So once you go through the process of healing, the first step being accountability, you go through the next steps. You go through the different channels so that when you overcome, you can give somebody the step by step that you use to overcome what they're currently going through.
There you go.
A lot of times people are talking about stuff that they're not living for real.
Right.
They heard about it. They read about it.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And because they have the know-how or the intelligence or the word of knowledge or whatever, the gifts, whatever you want to call it, they speak on that. But it's not very impactful, at least not as impactful as it can be. Because you can't give me the step-by-step on how to apply this thing.
Right.
Why? Because you didn't look in the mirror.
Right.
You didn't hold yourself accountable.
Exactly. Because you know what? It's through feeling whatever it's through feeling whatever you're supposed to feel and whatever is happening in your life at any given moment and learning from it that helps you create strategies to help somebody else.
Come on. Oh, that was good.
But if you never feel, if you never feel the punch, if you never feel the slap, if you never feel all those curse words, if your heart is never broken, if you never feel like your guts were ripped out, if you never feel like you worked your fingers to the bone and nobody ever appreciated you, if you never feel and acknowledge and be real about what you felt in the moment that life was giving you, whatever it was giving you at that moment, right? Then you can't pull everything from it that God wants you to learn and that your life can teach you from it.
Yes.
So that you can help somebody strategize out of their stuff.
Come on. Ooh, strategize. Ooh, somebody put that in the comments. Accountability equals strategy. Somebody type that really quickly.
Yeah.
Accountability.
You gotta help if you're gonna help somebody. You know, and you know what? I love Christian people. I do. I'm one of us. I'm one of us. But sometimes the word of God is strong and powerful. I know that. But you know what? Sometimes I don't need you to give me a scripture.
Come on. Ooh, Lord help.
Sometimes I need you to give me some what I call tap. I need you to give me some tangible, applicable, practical strategies.
Wait a minute. Say that one more time, please.
Right? You got to keep it tapped. Tangible, applicable, and practical. Sometimes that's what I need. Because sometimes if you give me that, perhaps I'll understand the scripture better. And then I'll know that scripture is going to be real and applicable and practical in my life at that moment.
Right.
Right. So for me, that's one of those prices in greatness that we don't want to miss. We don't want to miss the real opportunity to help somebody strategize based on what our life has taught us in very tangible, applicable, and practical ways.
Yes.
Right? Because when you think about the way Jesus moved in very deliberate manners.
Yes.
He moved in very deliberate manners. He was very deliberate and intentional in everything that he did. Right? When I asked y'all brought her here, you know, if you never done anything, then throw the first stone.
Come on. Oh, that's my favorite.
That was practical. That's practical.
Yeah.
God said, I'm gonna be practical here. And I'm gonna tell you how to apply your punishment while I'm being practical. If you didn't sin, then you cast the first stone. Woo. Okay, you didn't do that, then I think the tangible thing for y'all to do is just turn around and walk away.
Yes. Come on, yeah.
Right? That's the tangible thing. Even when we look at the story of Joseph, and the story of Joseph to me is like one of the best stories of greatness. And there's so much stuff in there that I think, that's a whole different sermon. But, you know, when you look at Joseph in the beginning, you know, he's having these dreams and he's going to his brothers and he's telling his brothers all his dreams and this, that, and the other thing. And for years, God would have me go back and read that passage when I, you know, was going through some stuff and starting my business. And, you know, I was going to make, you know, 2-3 million in the first 3-4 years in my business, and this, because in my head that was going to be the measure of greatness. And God would have me go back and read that thing. And finally one day I said, okay, God, you know what? I know I'm pretty smart, but you keep having me reading this, and the more I read it, the stupider I become, because I ain't got the point yet. But what God showed me was that in all of those dreams, and then Joseph doing all of that talking, sometimes we talk too much too soon.
You better say it.
Sometimes we talk too much too soon, right? So one of the prices of greatness that we have to learn is the ministry of shut up. Did you just be quiet?
Woo, woo.
Right? But then if you look at it, by the end of his story, when his brothers came, when he could have talked, when he could have just cut them all down immediately when he recognized them, he didn't.
I'm finna run.
He didn't.
Oh my God.
He didn't. Right? Now I don't know if I would have done that. I probably would have had some words for them. I would have heard. I would have had some words. But he had learned that there's strength in measuring your words. And in all that he had been through, and in all that he had achieved in his moment of great position, right? When he could have done them harm immediately, when he could have said all kind of things, he did not.
Mm-hmm. Even if it burned like fire.
But instead, he looked at his life. Woo. He thought about who his brothers were, and he dealt with them in a strategic manner.
Mighty God.
Right? He dealt with them in a strategic manner because he could not allow what they did to him become a price of his greatness.
Woo. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, that's a mouthful right there. Hold on really quickly. I have to acknowledge my first lady. Hi, prophetess. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being a part of this podcast. It means a lot. Y'all, please, if you can, it is free to share. Share this, y'all. Somebody needs to hear this. Somebody needs the jewels that this woman of wisdom is dropping on tonight. Share, or tag 3 people, y'all. Don't be stingy with this word, okay? Share this word with somebody tonight. Somebody needs to hear this because somebody is on the verge of greatness. And they might have a misinterpretation of what greatness really is.
Yeah.
They might feel like their greatness is predicated upon somebody else launching them or affirming them or acknowledging them. Y'all, right. Please share this podcast tonight. And if you're catching the playback, welcome. If you're just joining us, go back to the playback when we end this live and catch the beginning. Y'all have missed some stuff. I'm telling you. You see, I got my pen in my hand, right? I've been over here. You see, every time I turn my head, I'm writing because I need this myself. Okay? I need this myself. I want to ask you a question, though. Really quickly.
Okay.
If you could give your 18-year-old self some advice today, what would it be?
To recognize that you really are as fierce as you think you are. And it is absolutely okay not to listen to what anybody else says about you.
My God. Let me tell you why that means so much to me. I have a few people around me that say to me, Q, you always say glory to God. Glory be to God. All glory to God. And that's okay because that's what you're supposed to do. But you never give yourself enough credit. And then God showed me that sometimes we walk in false humility.
Yes.
Yeah. And then sometimes, like, how can you not see yourself the way I see you? I'm talking about this, what God told me. How can you not see yourself the way I see you? How can you not see yourself as fearfully and wonderfully made? How can you be quoting, I'm the head and not the tail, I'm above only and not beneath, I'm the first and not the last, and not actually believe it, not actually acknowledge that or accept that? Like what makes you feel like it's prideful to know that you're fierce, like you just said? To know that you all of that. If I'm a child of the Most High God, that means I'm royalty. Royalty is my portion. Royalty is in my bloodline. That's my lineage. I need to walk in that. Yes, there is a balance of not being prideful. Prideful, I believe, in the sense of that I mistreat people.
Yeah.
I abuse people.
But you know what? And because I've struggled with false humility, right? I've struggled with false humility. And I think so many of us struggle with it because it wasn't really spoken into us.
Wow.
And so because it really wasn't spoken into us, we didn't understand that we could speak it into ourselves, whether or not it was. We didn't learn the language of talking yourself up in a non-arrogant way.
Yes.
Right.
Wow.
We didn't learn until, you know, all of these the self-help and all of that stuff started to come to light. And you know, they do the exercises where you look in the mirror and tell yourself you're beautiful, and you say your affirmations and this, that, and the other thing. But we didn't learn that. That wasn't part of so many of our upbringings. It wasn't a part of even what we learned in educational systems, right? So we didn't know that we could do it. But what we were taught was to be modest. So if somebody says, "Oh, you're pretty," you just say, "Thank you." Or if somebody says, "Oh, you know, you got a beautiful dress," you know, "Oh, thank you. I got it from such." Okay, just say thank you. Accept the compliment. You know, we were never really taught that. So it was almost like our conditioning was to false humility.
Yes.
Right. And so when people would say things to me, I remember leaving a revival one night, and one of the prayer warriors that had spoken at the revival that night came up to me afterwards, and she laid her hand on my chest and she said, "One of these days you're going to see what a giant you are in the spirit." And I looked at her.
Wow.
And I'm looking at her, right? And my head is saying, you should probably say something nice right now, you know.
Instead of just
but I'm processing what she said. And finally I said to her, "Thank you, but I'm not sure what that means." Right? And she said to me, "When the time is right, you'll learn it."
Wow.
Right? And just the other day, a potential client emailed me about something, and she said to me, she said, when I was referred to you, she said, for some reason, when the woman told me your name, and this woman doesn't know me from anybody, she said, for some reason, when she told me your name, something in me moved. And I immediately got intimidated. And then she said, and then when I went and looked at your website, I called her back and said, "You sure she would work with somebody like me?"
Right.
And I called her and I said, "Well, why are you intimidated?" And she said, "Because I looked at all of the stuff you've done." And when she said it, I had to self-check myself. Wow. Because just like that, I could have moved into false humility.
Wow.
Right? But I think God sends people our way often or sometimes to do that, to remind us that we absolutely have something.
Yes.
We absolutely have something. Whether you know you're trying to start a bakery and you're wondering if your cakes and your pies are going to be this, that, and the other thing, they're going to be what they're meant to be because they're coming through your hands.
My God, come on.
And that's your greatness, right? That has nothing to do with what anybody else is doing in their bakery or with anybody. That has nothing to do with you. Right? That's you're moving in your portion of greatness.
Yeah.
Right? So as long as you do that, you're going to be okay, because what's for you is for you. It doesn't take anything away from anybody else. And it is absolutely okay for Apostle Q to say, "I am all of that when it comes to this."
Hello.
And it does nothing for me to say, you know what? I got those spots in the National Black Theater Festival and in Atlanta Black Theater Festival because I am good at what I do.
Yes, it's okay.
It's okay. Am I the best? I don't care. I am good at what I do.
Yes.
That is my measure. That
Wow.
is my measure, right? And so if you are a vocalist, you are called to be good at what you do.
Yes.
I'm not called to be Tyler Perry. You're not called to be, whoever, right? You're not called to be India Ari. You're not called to be Beyonce. You're not called to be, whoever. You're called to be who you called to be.
Right.
And who you're called to be opens the opportunities where you're going to be blessed and where you're going to make impact.
Yes. If you stay in your lane. Lord have mercy. Stop
And
trying to
that's a
cross
price of
over.
greatness. Listen, that's a price of greatness to learn how to
Yes.
stay in your car,
Yes.
in your lane,
Yes.
and
And
to stop giving everybody a ride.
yes. Ooh. And celebrate others in their greatness. Like those are seeds. It's okay to say, you know what? Congratulations. You don't have to be jealous or
No,
feel envious because someone is starting to shine. Instead, you can celebrate that person because guess what? Your time is coming too. If it's not already there, if you're not already shining, your shine is coming too.
right.
And you anyway, I'm gonna stay in the spirit. I'm gonna stay in the spirit. Miss Freeman, I'm gonna stay in the spirit tonight. Okay, I want to ask you. We're almost done. We're gonna wrap it up real soon, y'all. So, I don't know. This has been food to my soul tonight. Okay, y'all. This has been food to my soul. I have two more questions, and then we're gonna wrap it up. All right. What has greatness cost you?
Greatness has cost me some relationships.
Yeah.
It has cost me some money.
Yeah.
Um, I think it has. I think it has caused me. It has cost me. Um, it's cost me some. I'm trying to figure out how to say this. It caused me to fight being invisible in my own life.
Hmm.
So that I don't. So I'm trying to figure out how to say that's a cost, but it costs. It costs me. Oh, okay, I guess I could just. It cost me invisibility because I refuse to be invisible in my own life anymore. I
Wow.
refuse to allow the fact that other people wouldn't or couldn't or weren't called to see me to make me stay unseen.
Wow. 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 Okay,
Right.
so here's the
And it
final.
costs me some time because let me tell you something. When you're trying to achieve greatness and when you're moving in greatness, because I think a lot of times we keep thinking we're going greatness is way out there.
Yeah.
And when you asked me about doing this, one of the things that I realized, Apostle Q, is you know what? You can live your greatness every day if
Yeah.
you design your life around the greatness that is your definition of greatness, not somebody else's, right? We see greatness like we see God often, something
Yes.
that's far off out there, that's way out there, yet to be attained and yet to be reached. But what is your definition of greatness, right? Your definition of greatness may be living in peace, maybe living
Come
with
on.
with a sense of home, with a sense of quiet. What is your definition of greatness? May be every day of your life knowing that you touch somebody in a powerful way,
Wow.
right? so you can live your level of greatness every day. And so I think it definitely cost me that invisibility, and it cost me lowering, raising my faith with God and lowering the belief that I wasn't good enough for God.
Come on. Come on. And notice, y'all, she didn't say good enough for people. She said good enough for God.
Yeah. Because people are fickle.
Yeah.
So you'll be good enough Monday at 5 p.m. and you won't be good enough Monday at 5:30.
Facts. 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 Okay, so I have one more question and then I have a bonus question for you.
Oh, and then I will say that it did cost me some integrity, because I do think that there were times on the road to greatness that I did not achieve what I knew that I could, simply because I either messed up or just got lazy or whatever reason.
Okay.
So I'll be real about that. I think it did cost me integrity at some points.
Wow. So from that perspective, if it cost you integrity, what was the lesson that you learned in that?
To be mindful of what I take on, to really vet whether or not I take something on. Right. Um, and to be real about why I'm even considering taking something on. Am I considering taking it on because I really believe that I can do well in the project, that I can do something great for that client in the project? Or, and I'm going to say this very real, because a lot of us know this, not all of us, but a lot of us know this. Or did I do it for the money?
Oh.
Right. And so, but what it taught me was to question my motives, to vet whether or not a project is for me, and to be very real with myself about whether or not I could really bring my A game to it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And if those three things did not line up, then I need to be doing that.
The intention. That's what I'm hearing you say.
Yes.
What is the intention behind what I'm doing?
Exactly.
Okay, so final question and then your bonus question. All right. If you could write a play about the road to greatness, what would you name it and why?
I would probably name it, How Many Band-Aids Do You Have?
You better say it. You better say that. How many Band-Aids do you have?
How many Band-Aids do you have? And I would name it that because you're going to get scratched, you're going to get bumped, you're going to get thrown down, you're going to get knocked down, you're going to trip, you're going to get beat up. And even on the pull back up, right, you still get some bruises on the pull back up. Don't always, and we have to be real about that. You don't always think that the climb back up, even though you coming back up, don't always think that's an easy climb.
Come on.
Don't always think that's an easy climb, because you got to feel the come back up just like you felt the fall down.
Come on. Come on.
Right?
Jesus.
So, yeah. How many Band-Aids you got?
How many Band-Aids you got? I think we might be on to something, Miss Freeman.
We go all be walking around with a Band-Aid that's just saying,
right here.
Right. Okay, right, yeah. We're gonna be like, oh.
Right. That part. Okay. Okay, so here's your bonus question. If you could be a diamond, what color diamond would you be and why?
I would be a blue diamond.
Ooh! Wait.
Because I just think blue is such a peaceful yet alluring, yet come here and be okay kind of color.
Listen, Linda.
Right? It's just like, to me, blue is just one of those colors that says, I'm going to invite you to be all right here.
Yes.
Right here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. 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 And yes again. Now, really quickly. First of all, that's the color of my logo. My logo, anybody who knows me that's been following me for a while, y'all know that my platform is Diamonds in the Rough, and my logo contains a blue diamond. It matter of fact, if y'all look at, somewhere on here, you can see where
It's
there's a
like up in
picture
the
of,
corner.
yes, there's a blue diamond. So real quick, let me look up what blue diamonds represent. It says blue diamonds also are exceptionally rare. The remarkable blue hues are caused due to, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, boron, Boron, being present in the formation process. A blue diamond represents peace,
Didn't I tell you? See?
truth, devotion, eternity, chastity, and spirituality. The breathtaking blue color of the stone has made the diamond extremely popular. It's fascinating to understand that every blue diamond has its own characteristics and unique symbolism. The next time you buy a unique colored diamond, keep the interesting representation of the diamond in mind. This way, you'll be ready to get a diamond that truly speaks to your personality and elegance. I just wanted to, throw that out there as a bonus. That's why we here, you see. You see, that's why we here, you see.
See?
You understand.
See?
And you understand. Anyway, you all, that is our time. Miss Freeman, I'm full. When I say I'm full, I am so full tonight. You
Well,
have
I'm
lifted me in
happy
a
that
way.
you're full. I
Oh
love
man.
this conversation. Listen, I love this conversation.
Yes. Yes, we
I
gotta do this
love this
again.
conversation.
We
Yeah.
have to do it again because it's you've even helped me to change my perspective on a lot of things, like understanding that when we think of greatness, it's not, oh, I'm attaining and achieving greatness. No, you're gonna have to go through some hell
Yeah.
to attain this greatness, whatever greatness looks like to you. Whatever God told you is your portion of
Right.
greatness. I gathered so many things from what you said that it's really caused me to reframe my perspective on what greatness really is. And that it's between me and God. Like, am I doing what He
Yes.
told me to do? That's my greatness. And when I leave this earth, will my legacy be that I did what God chose me to do? Am I going to leave here on empty, or on half tank, or on
Right.
full?
Right.
That's
Right.
my greatness.
Right.
That's what greatness means to me.
And when we look at it this way, the price of greatness is, yeah, is rejection, is,
Yeah.
is people laughing at you, is despair, is disregard. It can be, the price of greatness can be heavy. It can bring depression, it can
Yes.
bring anxiety, but it can also bring hope. It can bring strategies, right? It can bring strength. It can bring tangible answers. It can bring the answers to something that you've been looking for in your life, or that the world has been looking for, right? But
Yes.
don't ever let the price of greatness be that you didn't live your greatness
Mm.
because you were worried about whether or not you could take the hard side of it.
Woo.
Don't ever let the price of greatness be, like I said earlier, and this is so important. Don't ever let the price of greatness be that you were out of place and may have caused somebody else to misstep or miss what you were supposed to pour into them. Don't ever
Right.
let that be the price you pay. Don't let that be the price. So weigh your prices, right? Weigh your prices. This is hard, but this is somebody else's life too.
Ooh, that you're responsible for. Help me, Holy Ghost.
There you go. And
It's not even.
that's in whatever your greatness is supposed to be. That I'm not just talking about whether you're an apostle or a pastor, or I'm talking about whatever your greatness is supposed to be, whatever your portion of greatness is, it is your portion, because your portion is supposed to impact somebody else's portion.
Woo! Somebody please put that in the comments. Your portion is supposed to impact someone else's portion.
Yeah.
We got to keep that in mind, y'all. And I'm saying we, because I am not exempt. Okay, sometimes doing something as simple as a podcast, because it's so impactful, will cause you to want to throw the whole life away. Hello? Throw the whole life away. Somebody turn the lights off in this. Because, baby, it is costly. But thank you so much, Ms. Freeman. Thank you so much. Please let the people know what you have coming up next, how they can follow you, how they can reach you if they want to work with you, if they have something that they need to connect with you with, if they just want to tell you thank you for your words of wisdom. How can we reach you, and what do you have coming up next?
So next weekend, I am at the Atlanta Black Theater Festival for a stage reading of a show I wrote called Remembering Papa. You can connect with me at my website, which is eclaudetteliterary.com. That's eclaudetteliterary.com. And you can also email me there at coaching@eclaudetteliterary.com. I am actually gearing up, hopefully by October, to launch a subscription-based digital journal where every week you'll get a series of emails that provide prompts and insight to journal about the topic for that week. And so each subscription will be 12 weeks long. And so please email me or hit me, direct message me on Facebook if you want to make sure that you're on that mailing list. I'm excited about that because it's me doing what I really love to do, sharing and encouraging people to journal and really dig into what's going on inside of them.
Yeah,
so that's what's coming up with me. So you can find me again at eclaudetteliterary.com. And if that's too difficult, you can also find me at pecantreebooks.com.
Yes. And if I could, yank my little chain just a little bit, just so you know, I had the pleasure of creating, was it 2 or 3?
For Zora James Publishing logo.
Zora James.
And then you did the logo for the play I did at the National. Oh, I meant to tell you that. I'll tell you here then. At the National Black Theater Festival. And let me tell you something. That logo works so wonderfully well on flyers because I would hear people picking it up going, "Oh, what's this about?" And so it absolutely worked. And actually, one of the actors told me, he asked me, he said, "Oh, can I use this logo on something?" I said, "Absolutely not."
Right?
Absolutely not.
So, this is a shameless plug to all of you, that might need some digital graphics and logos and, holler at your girl. Your girl is efficient. I promise you.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
It was fierce. It caught it. It did just what I needed. It caught attention and
oh, wow.
I was, yeah. And actually I'm gonna keep it because I'm gonna end up publishing that play. I'm gonna do some revisions on it, but I'm gonna end up publishing that play and I'm just gonna use that same logo for the cover.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, why mess with the good thing,
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for gracing me. Like, I feel like a kid, like a little kid.
Thank you for having me.
No, man.
I love this.
Again. I love this. Like it's very rare. And I've had a lot of those encounters, but it's very rare when you can do something with somebody and they feed you in the process. Like I said it. I told you was gonna do it. I told you was gonna do it. And you did it. And I'm so grateful. And I cannot wait to do this again. And I love you dearly. And I mean that from my whole heart.
Well, you're welcome. And I'm glad you didn't hit the floor.
Right? I sure was. Listen, I was about to. I had to hold it, hold it. But you guys, before we go, I have to make it my business to draw God so that he can draw you. I would be amiss if I did not offer anyone on here the opportunity to receive Christ as your Lord and Savior. Because quite frankly, y'all, If it wasn't for Christ, we couldn't do none of this. None of it. Okay? So please, if you have not accepted Christ, here is your moment. And the good thing about this is that nobody can see you. This is not, you can't be embarrassed. Ain't nobody looking at you. You're not feeling away. This is literally between you and God. And please, I want to cancel the narrative about this God that is waiting for you to make a mistake so he can throw you in hell. That is not the God that I serve. No. I done made enough mistakes. Hear me clearly, y'all. And I have a few people on here that can attest to this. I've made enough mistakes for everybody on here 10 times over. I promise you. If he can love me, he can love you too. All right? So if you want to be introduced to my daddy, my Lord, my Savior, my keeper, the lifter of my head, my mind regulator, listen to me. He is all that and some more stuff.
Yes.
Okay? If you want to know how, what, where, why, the source is Christ. Period. Okay? So, Ms. Freeman, if you don't mind to help me say this prayer, just so we can, make the saints feel comfortable tonight. All right, y'all. Here we go. Lord Jesus.
Lord Jesus.
I believe in my heart.
I believe in my heart.
I confess with my mouth.
I confess with my mouth.
That you are my Lord.
That you are my Lord.
And my Savior.
And my Savior.
I receive you today.
I receive you today.
And I am now.
And I am now.
A part of God's family.
A part of God's family.
Welcome home.
Yay.
Bruh. Y'all forgive me. I'm real goofy. I am a mess. I know it. And I love it. Hello. But no, seriously. Seriously. Listen, that's it. It's not that deep. It's not a bunch of mechanics. You are now in God's family. What's next? Just keep walking. Okay? That's not going to change everything right away. You're still going to go through some things. You're still going to make mistakes. You're still going to fall. You're still going to be human, and that's okay. The difference is now that you're God's child, He going to dust you off. He going to clean you up. He going to make you new.
Right.
Okay? So, please, also, if you can, find a church home that's going to speak life into you and not death. That's going to build you and not tear you down. That's going to love on you for real and not hate on you.
Yes.
And remember, please, if you don't do nothing else, no matter what nobody says about you or anyone thinks about you, you just keep shining. I love y'all. That's our time. Time is out.